Live from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN television news. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
Imagine having the home of your dreams. Imagine investing in that piece of property you can call your own. Imagine finally doing that home improvement project you've always been thinking about. It's time to stop imagining and start doing. Let the GUT Credit Union help you take the first step with fantastic rates, affordable repayments, and reduced legal fees. Make the move. Get better terms on your mortgage. Use your home equity to make those dreams a reality. Act now. There's really no place like home. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
This is the GBN television news for Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. I'm Trellona Charles. In the headlines tonight, motorists call for intervention as fuel costs continue to increase. Busmen skeptical about government's moratorium offer. Trade unions representing public workers await Labour Minister's recommendations 1 month after the last mediation. In our One Caribbean hookup, Jamaican medical students studying in Cuba are pleading for help as they find it difficult to access basic necessities, and China's death toll rises after record-breaking rainfall. Coming up in sports, opening ceremony for Tokyo Olympic Games just hours away. Details right after this message.
Get high making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch game with 4 chances to win. Beat the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an A symbol. And just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win the top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
Good evening. This is GBN's News at 7. Motorists say they are struggling to keep their heads above water. The ever-increasing fuel prices are drawing them, and they hope those in authority would see their plight and give them some ease. We get details on this. Chrislina John reports.
I am coming back for busmen. I am coming back for taxi drivers. Is these words mean that will be our final resting place? Tell me. Now, I want the public to understand that with this continual rising in gas price and not an increase for bus operators, this will drive us to our grave.
Grievances expressed by motorists, including bus operators, who are feeling the brunt of fueling gas prices. In 2004, gasoline cost $7.46 per gallon. It moved in 2006 to $9.13 and has been fluctuating since, generally increasing. The price for gas on island was highest in May 2013, reaching $16.43 per gallon. This new price of $16.36 will make it the third highest cost per gallon in nearly 10 years. This increase is in keeping with increased prices for gasoline on the international market. Some of the motorists most affected are the men and women who make their daily bread transporting passengers to and from their destinations across the island. The route remains the same, the bus fare too. For these individuals, each trip now bears a heavier cost. GBN caught up with some of them on their struggle with the adjustment.
Because first of all, these buses are gas bus and the road not accommodating for this gas price to go.
People want to loan the gas price high everywhere. Well, in Grenada, I don't find other places gas prices, so they're killing people, man. They have to check on themselves, man.
If they say they have to strike, all vehicle owner in Grenada are supposed to strike to get the gas price drop.
To be honest with you, I find it is very, very unfair for us.
Very frustrating as a bus owner, plying the road every day. It's really, we are really feeling it on our pockets.
President of the Northeast Bus Association, Glenroy Gray, says with 60-plus buses on his route and not much of an income, he had to resort to a rotation system.
Now, I could remember 1 year ago when we went to the government for an increase in prices, and they blatantly refused us. Now, if you look at it right now, we the operators are very much struggling. On my route, Vendom route, I have those men rotating because it's not feasible to bring out all these buses on the route.
Minister for Infrastructure, Public Utilities and Transport, Nolan Cox, was asked about the issue during Tuesday's post-cabinet media brief.
That's your second part of the question in terms of the cost breakdown for fuel. I'm unable to give that at this point in time. So my apologies for that. For fear of me giving wrong information, I would not attempt to do so.
This time last year, the price per gallon for gasoline was $13.12, leaving a difference of $3.24 reflected in the same period this year. Christina John, GBN News.
Meanwhile, bus owners and operators gave their views on the recent announcement made by government officials who are now offering financial assistance to the transport sector. Rena Thomas reports.
With the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on various sectors, the transport sector too has been hard hit. In a recent press briefing, Minister for Infrastructure, Nolan Cox, says they are presently working on an initiative that will help bus owners and operators through their present situation.
The Ministry of Finance, with support from the Caribbean Development Bank, we are currently working on a COVID-19 relief support to provide support not only to the omnibus sector but also small businesses. And that support is in the form of a very soft loan that they can borrow such monies to pay out those interest charges that they incurred at a repayment rate of just, I think, 1.5%.
GBN News team sought to get comments on how some bus operators feel about what many may consider good news. Here are their responses.
Well, to me, it make much sense because eventually it's still a payback anyways. I mean, if the grace period probably all right because I'm due to the COVID time now, but to me, I don't find it make much sense to tell the truth. You understand?
No, I wouldn't welcome that. Let us fix the road and thing with it. Let we balance ourselves. Instead of we spending money on parts, we could balance ourselves and pay we loan easy. But they don't fix in the road. All the road bad. Bushing mash up, this mash up. That is what I have to do with the money. Take it and fix the road. Don't try to bribe us.
That sounds really good because the place is really hard now. Trust me, tough. For the last couple of weeks, this is the toughest we've been through. That might help us a bit. Yeah, it might be very good for us. Yeah.
This bus operator believes that those in authority should have a sit-down with bus owners and operators to understand their issues and what truly affects them before making a decision.
The reason why the government is not coming and meet us on the half. I'm a busman, right? I drive a bus on the number 2 route. He's not coming and have a meeting. Nobody's coming to meet us one-on-one and have a talk concerning about what could we do to make bus business better. Instead of coming on the TV, say what he's want, and he do what he's want, and he don't care about nobody.
For GBN News, I am Rena Thomas reporting.
There have been claims by busmen that they have been targeted by police who have been issuing tickets for non-adherence to wearing a face covering while transporting passengers. One of the key transmission routes of COVID-19 is via airborne droplets from the mouth. That includes when we speak, cough, or sneeze. A portion of these droplets become tiny particles for others to breathe in.
This has become the new normal, especially in public. One must wear a face covering or a face mask. The law is the law and must be adhered to by all. Wearing of a face mask, as enshrined in the COVID-19 regulations, is a means of protecting oneself from either contracting or infecting another with the virus. Some persons have been found in breach, resulting in the issuance of a number of tickets. Lately, Grandon's busmen say they feel targeted by the police. 40 tickets issued in one day alone. According to some Grandon's bus operators who did not want to be recorded, they are seeing similar practice of busmen not wearing face coverings or masks on other routes, and nothing has been done about it by law enforcement. GBN contacted the Community Relations Department for a feedback on the claims made, however, was told they did not wish to comment on the issue in particular, however, reiterated that the law is the law and must be enforced whenever there is a breach. Wearing of a mask in public or whilst conducting business is one of the guidelines in the regulations that must be adhered to by law. Consequences are likely should someone fail to do so and can result in either charges laid or an individual ticketed. According to the COVID-19 protocols, when traveling in vehicles with more than one person, it is a must that you wear a mask. Christelina John, GBN News.
1 month has elapsed since Labour Minister Peter David was expected to make a recommendation on the retroactive payment of the 4% salary increases to members of the Public Workers Union and Technical and Allied Workers Union. The joint negotiating team rejected the retroactive payment of the 4% salary increase for January to July by way of bonds. They instead countered with a full cash payment plan at the end of July, inclusive of the retroactive salaries. We get the latest developments in this Gerard Joseph report.
June 22nd was the last date a mediation was hosted by Labour Minister Peter David with the joint negotiating team and the government negotiating team. Now, exactly a month later, the JNT representing the Technical and Allied Workers Union and the Public Workers Union are still awaiting the recommendations promised by the Labour Minister.
His words to us was that there will be a recommendation shortly after. We are a month into that shortly.
PW President Brian Grimes labels it an unfortunate development as an example of how the authorities view the unions and workers in this country.
They have also promised that at the end of June we will understand definitively the fiscal stance where they are. We have not had any engagements from them on that issue.
Another set of empty promises is the concern being shared, despite government promising that the 4% salary increase will be paid at the end of August.
The retroactive is an issue. The lump sum is an issue. We see here in Grenada, to put it colloquially, people seeing trouble in this country.
Grimes credits remittances as a major factor in preventing citizens from being on the breadline despite the fact that they are employed.
Based on the rising cost of living in this country, you see gas price, you see food price. I want to ask the general public, has your electricity bill gone down as promised by this administration? It's only a question.
The union leader says the stark reality is the cost of living in Grenada is very high, thus the payment of bonds as proposed by government is not feasible.
We cannot be a nation or workers within the public service with this dependency syndrome. We must do for ourselves. If the authorities give us what is ours, we may not have to depend so much on the people away for us to pay bills on a monthly basis and so forth.
The PW president says they are strongly requesting that government reconsider the bonds while they await a response from the Labour Minister. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
This is News at 7. Coming up, PWU proceeds with plans to recommence the appointment of shop stewards. Stay with us.
Take your shot and get back to your life. Take your shot and get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life.
A message from Republic Bank.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low? For one, we size our transformers just for what we need, and we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LED. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in. How do you know if it is working? We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
Grenelec, energizing our Grenada.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win. Big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable, and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenelec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Get ready for the most anticipated event this summer. Wagiti Premium All-Inclusive Fest. Tropical Hawaiian. The White Edition. On Saturday, July 31st from 5 p.m.
Tantine Plainfield.
Featuring 2 live bands.
Solid and Octane.
With Grenada's top soca acts.
Looney Sparks and Electrify.
Blackadad. Your DJs Danny and Kevon. Advance tickets $350. Available at gotofat.com
or our main office on Grove Street Mall.
Saturday, July 31st. Wagiti Premium All-Inclusive Fest. This is not just a fete, it's an event. Please note all patrons must be fully vaccinated.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
There's a better way to beat the heat. Get an air condition unit at Quartz, starting at $1,199. Get free installation on your purchase. Plus, with Ready Finance, you can shop now and pay nothing for 60 days. Quartz, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
Take your shot and get back to your life. Take your shot and get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life.
A message from Republic Bank.
Welcome back. The Public Workers Union is strengthening the ambits of its internal structure as it repositions itself for the future. Months into the reign of its new executive, the re-establishment of its shop steward system is already gaining ground. Gerard Joseph has that story.
One of the
figure in this environment, they can be politically victimized.
He highlights that being a shop steward is not about the stereotype of aggression and fighting the employer.
It's just someone who can relate the issues of the worker, be a liaison, like I said before, and who can solve problems diplomatically and respectfully. So it's not about war. Shop stewards are given an opportunity within our organization to do many workshops, education, training sessions. So we are encouraging members within the public service to step forward and put yourselves up to be shop steward, because it helps in the overall strength of the union, and it's also a personal development too.
The union leader notes the challenge of taking up responsibility by members.
Some people, responsibility, not everybody engages and embraces with responsibility as some others. That's why leaders are in the minority as opposed to followers. So that is a minor challenge. We are getting there. We have elected a number of shop stewards already, and they are extremely active. So we'll continue to do that as the season of the executive continues along.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
With an aim to improve the health and safety standards in football nationwide, the Grenada Football Association is hosting training sessions for medical personnel attached to football clubs to improve their skills on and off the field. Rena Pear-Thomas tells us more.
The Grenada Football Association has started the initial step in providing training for medical personnel involved in football clubs to enhance their skills on and off the field of play. GFA hosted a medical workshop on Wednesday, July 21st at its headquarters in Queen's Park, St. George's, facilitated by various medical doctors on island. The topics covered included health and safety on and off the field, head and neck injuries and environmental injuries, among others. At the end of the training, participants are expected to be able to identify common injuries sustained during the playing of football, identify signs of injury, and have first aid knowledge on how to treat football injuries. Chairman of the GFA Medical Committee, Director Nigel Gibbs, says the training is necessary in light of the constant demands made on players and the need to improve the first response for injuries.
Well, the medical workshop is long overdue, but what we want to capture and build capacity in is the ability of the medical response personnel for the GFA clubs, specifically for now, to be able to respond to trauma sustained during matches. Also, this is not a one-off. This today will be the groundbreaking theoretical part of what happens within the medical aspect of games. But there will be a quick succession of a practical follow-up training session with a hands-on.
The training will help equip over 15 medical personnel to respond to any injury that may happen on the field so that they can be able to respond correctly until other medical experts are alerted. Gibbs spoke of why the training is even more important at this time.
So we need to be in front and to capture, build capacity from the who would be administrating in the sport to pick up the injuries, because we will be dealing with more children, more youths. And of course, you do not want to bring children to the field of play and then send them back to their parents, not even knowing if they had an injury or if they sustained an injury, treating it too lightly, and then it gets into a more complicated issue, medical issue.
The medical committee director says that at the end of the training, some participants will be certified medical personnel.
The end result of this training seminar, whether by these two components or additional components, which we will try to roll out, will be to get added certified medically trained people, so that we do not have that issue of uncertified people attending to medical issues, and they can actually cause more injury.
GFA is looking forward to the workshop improving the health and safety standards in football nationwide. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear-Thomas reporting.
Car accidents, natural disasters, and serious illness or traumatic events for a large number of people. The aftermath of these traumatic experiences can be difficult to come to terms with, especially in terms of the mental health ramifications. For our health segment, GBN's Krista Campbell examined the physiological conditions associated with the traumatic events and how they can be combated.
When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grand Anse, Victoria Street, Brentwood, and Central Deputy Street, Wall. Gittins Healthcare aims to provide an exceptional personalized pharmacy experience. Additionally, children under 5 and adults 55 years and over will enjoy 10% discount on purchases of $20 and over on prescription medication. Stop settling for less. Visit Gittins Healthcare, where your health is our priority.
Trauma puts us off balance. Whether it's a death, whether it's an accident, whether it's a surgery, or any one of those things, it puts us off balance. So, and the human condition that we want to get back into balance as soon as we can.
That was Grenadian theologian based in New York, Dr. Wesley Daniel, sharing on traumatic experiences. According to the American Psychological Association, trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster.
Oh God, Sean got trapped. Oh God. Sean got trapped!
Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Can you recall how you felt after Hurricane Ivan struck Grenada? An individual related to the GBN that it was a traumatizing experience.
First of all, I must say it was a traumatizing experience, and up to today, I'm still suffering from it.
The American Psychological Association also highlights long-term reactions to various occurrences. These include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. Traumatic events and high doses of adversity have been noted to have lasting physiological impacts. Pediatrician Nadine Burke-Harris explains.
High doses of adversity not only affect brain structure and function, they affect the developing immune system, developing hormonal systems, and even the way our DNA is read and transcribed.
Offering support has been documented to be a useful strategy that helps mitigate the long-term biological effects associated with high levels of trauma. Dr. Daniel expressed that listening is essential when helping a friend or a loved one who experienced a traumatic incident.
One of the key things here is listening. You as the helper or the professional counselor, your key is to listen, because the event is not, or the situation is not about you, the person who they come to for help. The situation is about the person who has come for help.
Meanwhile, researchers have been investigating the factors that help people cope with traumatic experiences. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, talking about traumatic occurrences and having a network of support are coping strategies that one can utilize after experiencing a traumatic event. Krista Campbell, GBN News.
And now we turn our attention to what has been creating a buzz on social media. Let's take a look around the platforms.
This is Social Buzz, where we shine a light on the thoughts and concerns of our online audience. The government is now warning owners of abandoned vehicles on roadsides to take proactive measures before these vehicles are forcibly removed.
We do have private service operators on island. We'll seek to engage them to provide some support for us to commence this important program. So we just want to give persons who may be impacted a heads up to you can go ahead and commence to move the vehicle yourself. But we will have to take action to ensure that the road remains safe in that regard going forward.
Our online audience give their opinions. Asha commented, well, I think this issue in particular is well spotted, and the RGPF must now impose heavy fines on those dilapidated vehicles and their owners that were the last registered owners with immediate effect. Grenada must not turn a scrapyard depreciated by those few with no love or integrity for their environment, the country, and fellowship indeed. Vivian wrote, I'll believe it when I see it happen. More than 5 years now, they were supposed to move abandoned boats on banks at Kirani James Boulevard. All up to 2019, my last trip home, nothing happened. Brian commented, I agree with that 100%. It's an eyesore and a safety hazard. Don commented, I hope they are being compacted and exported for recycling and not just taken to some junkyard. Cynthia asked, where are these going to be taken? Is there a specific area? Is it the government's responsibility to go around and collect? Or is it the owner's responsibility to dispose of in the proper manner and place? Just asking. And Terry commented, should a similar policy be also applied to abandoned, burnt-down buildings that sit there for years and are an eyesore? Property or land unclaimed should be used for public good. No, there are legal stipulations involved in these situations. However, as a state depending on tourism, we have to be proactive. That's it for tonight's Social Buzz. If you would like to have your thoughts and concerns shared, be sure to comment on GBN's Facebook page.
From the thought process to the visual impact, it's time to take a peek through the GBN eyesore lens.
A good eye catches all. GBN eyesore is brought to you by Clear Vision.
Life is beautiful if only you can see it. Clear Vision Eye Center helps you do just that. We provide expert service, classy eyewear, and cutting-edge technology, all with a quality customer experience. See better, feel better, and look better. Meet us today at clearvisiongrenada.com or call 444-0055, WhatsApp 409-0055, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Clear Vision Eye Center. Let's see life and the world with a clear vision.
A GBN's eyesore report tonight features photographs, compliments the Grenada Olympic Committee, showcasing some of Grenada's representatives at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Hours before the parade before the world, representing Spice Country Grenada. Here's Anderson Peters and Lyndon Victor settling in and got a chance to hold the Olympic torch. Send us your photos and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Still ahead, IICA seeks to improve the nation's food security through a backyard gardening initiative. This is News at 7.
Introducing Color by Sissons. 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 Color by Sissons.
What does it take to be an amazing woman? Lots of me time. Amazing women are classy, fancy and a little sassy. It's the drink for me. Cheers! Sometimes you've got to show them who's boss. Alpha male? Nah, alpha females are more amazing. Cheers to securing the bag. We make time for ourselves, for work, friends, and we certainly make time for passion. We're simply amazing. Amazing cream liqueur for the amazing woman in you.
Looking for a professional team offering around-the-clock, private and confidential nursing, medical care, and aid services? Then look no further. Nurses Care Grenada is a fully certified, insured, and licensed healthcare facility committed to the reduction and eventual elimination of healthcare disparities affecting the nation. Our registered nurses will visit you at your home, assess your condition, and provide the required treatment under the directive of a doctor. So why worry when there's Nurses Care Grenada? Give us a call, 406-3928. Nurses Care, reliable, trusted professionals we can all depend on.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 for 18-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Welcome back. The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture will be coordinating a backyard gardening initiative aimed at improving the nation's food security through a community network platform.
The first of its kind Grenada Backyard Gardeners Network initiative will be launched on July 28th by the American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA. The objective of the project is to strengthen the technical capacity of community members for increased backyard production and to strengthen the coordination among backyard gardeners to improve community food security through the development of a networking platform. There are two components of the program, a hands-on training aspect and a WhatsApp group network that will allow for queries and information sharing. The ICA's national specialist, Derek Charles, says the aim is to boost community spirit.
I think that we need to reclaim the backyard. There is a lot going on in the backyard, but it's not well coordinated. What we want to encourage people to do is to exchange and bring back that level of community spirit in the backyard where people will share information and grow in terms of a community. In other words, they have shared values, so they come together to produce and to enjoy the backyard.
The first backyard gardening demonstration will commence in August 2021. This will involve both theory and hands-on training on backyard demonstration sites.
Dr. Guido Marcel going to do some work for us there in terms of medicinal plants. Okay, I'm going to do some work in terms of how to do the backyard, how to organize it, be it containers or be it on the soil. I'll do that. I'm going to show you how to do your soil mix. If it's in a pot, I'll show you how to do that. If it's in the soil, I'll tell you the till that you need in terms of so that the root could penetrate. In other words, the tilt of the soil that is necessary for that. And in terms of the watering of the plant, that is very important. The other important part that people don't understand is the sunlight. You have to have a certain amount of sunlight for your plant to do well.
Over 30 individuals are part of the Backyard Gardeners Network initiative. On completion of the training, participants will be certified and presented with a backyard startup pack. Christina John, GBN News.
Torby Road in Woodland St. George is officially complete, and motorists are now free to use the alternative routes to their various destinations. That's according to Minister for Infrastructure Norland Cox, who explained that the construction of the road was done mainly to facilitate reconstruction work that will soon commence on the Cliff Main Road.
This is a project that we had embarked on sometime last year. We started to do some work on it. We had various contractors who would have done work previously, but we took a strategic decision to have the road completed in its entirety. The reason for that being is that the road on the cliff, the main road on the cliff, which terminates right at the Woodlands roundabout, that portion of road, there are some serious movements on the road there, and we have to repair that road. So this road will serve as an alternative pass roadway as for when work commence on that road. So hence the reason why we are fixing this road first.
The minister said the project is welcomed by many in the area as it is a long-awaited development.
And of course, the persons in the community, of course, welcome the road. They have been asking for quite some time. But it has beared more importance because we recognize that when we have accidents or incidents, and persons are forced now to use this roadway. And we, not just this roadway alone, but we are finding that now with a number of other roadways that we need to have them done because they are more convenient and will ease up pressure on the main road, ease up congestion, traffic congestion. Persons have different options to take different routes to get where they're going.
The project, which has a cost of over $570,000 EC dollars, was officially completed last Thursday. Stay with us. The weather and sports are up next.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Keeping an eye on the weather, this is GBN. We've got you covered.
This is the weather for tonight and the next 3 days. Tonight's minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius. The weather will be partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with some widely scattered to scattered showers and possible isolated thunder. Winds east-northeasterly to easterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas slight to moderate, waves 3 to 5 feet in open waters. Tides low at 8:15 p.m., high at 2:15 a.m. On Friday, the weather will be partly cloudy to cloudy, hazy and breezy with some widely scattered to scattered showers and possible thunder, improving during the afternoon. On Saturday, the weather will be partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with some widely scattered to scattered showers and possible thunder. On Sunday, the weather will be partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with some widely scattered to scattered showers and the possible thunder. Good evening, sporting fans. The countdown clock is within the hours mark as we are less than 12 hours before the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Tokyo. The Olympic Games' open ceremony is scheduled to begin at 7 a.m. Grenadian time, and several of our Grenadian athletes' arrival in Tokyo has been confirmed. World javelin champion Anderson Peters, during his tour of Europe, said mental preparation together with fine-tuning technical adjustments are his focus.
Past few weeks, me and Coach Paula has been working on a few technical adjustments. We have been able to improve my season's best performance. We have a meet on Tuesday next week, which is the 13th in the Gateshead Diamond League. So we just made a couple of adjustments this week, and we're trying to see how well it would work next week. So we're looking forward to that. I think this is like the final adjustment we will make coming into the Olympic Games.
Anderson explained the rationale for such adjustments.
For most throwing athletes, I think it's a thing that we regularly do, because coming into a peak period, we tend to get a lot faster than we have been all season. So we have to change a lot of technical stuff that will be able to take the speed that we actually bringing into the throw right now, the elasticity, or there's a lot of things that peaking brings that you wouldn't see early up in the season. So we have to make minor changes to those positive things that would come out of the peaking period.
Anderson Peters, like Kirani James, won the World Championships before debuting in the Olympic Games. Meanwhile, Kirani will be participating in his third Olympics, having captured a gold and silver medal previously. Commonwealth decathlon champion Lyndon Victor will be participating in his second Olympics, while Melanie Rodney and swimmers Delron Felix and Kimberly Ince experience their first games. GBN brings you live coverage of the Tokyo Olympics from 7 a.m. on Friday. As athletes from across the world start to gather in the isolation bubble system that the Tokyo Games imposed to control COVID-19, there is a risk that infections could spread more widely from within. The positive tests among athletes have stoked fears of a possible outbreak in the Olympic Village that would be a nightmare scenario for organizers. Hugs, handshakes, and high fives are banned in the Olympic and Paralympic Village, and competitors could be kicked out of the games if they ignore regulations. Tokyo remains under a state of emergency, and competitors face unparalleled restrictions on their movements. Al Jazeera's Andy Richardson reports from Tokyo, Japan.
Everyone heading to these Olympics is taking a step into the unknown. The first hurdle for athletes and media arriving in Japan, making sure all the right paperwork is in place to pass strict COVID-19 safety protocols. Well, we've just made it through a fairly complex immigration process that took around 4 hours and involved taking a COVID test. I also had to take 2 COVID tests in the days immediately prior to coming to Japan, and I'll be tested every day for the first 3 days and then at regular intervals after that. As for the athletes, well, they'll go through something very similar, but they will be tested every single day that they're at these Olympics. Some public health experts are concerned the efforts being taken to keep these games safe don't go far enough. For example, the daily test athletes are taking is a rapid result antigen test, not the more reliable and accurate PCR test.
I think the fundamental problem was
a lack of open, transparent, and scientific discussions about the conditions under which the Olympics could be held in a safe and a secure manner. I think that is totally irresponsible.
Coronavirus has already derailed the plans of many potential Olympians. Uganda's Rugby Sevens team were hoping to compete at the Games for the first time. But after some of their players tested positive for COVID-19 at their final qualifying event, they had to withdraw. And similar scenarios are already playing out in Japan.
The preparation has been very, very difficult for many athletes. And of course, that experience has not been similar. The virus has impacted some countries in a devastating way.
Hugs, handshakes and high fives are all banned at the Athletes' Village. Competitors have been told they could be kicked out of the Games if they ignore regulations aimed at preventing the spread of coronavirus. But not all athletes are concerned by the restrictions as they focus on winning Olympic gold.
You can't congregate in big groups in the dining hall. You got to stay in your little bubble of 4 or 5 people the whole time and stay to your room and all of that. That's exactly how I've always treated an Olympic Games. Like, it hasn't been a big social experience for me. It's all about the competition, and so it's going to be pretty routine.
That sense of isolation is set to continue into the fanless, empty stadiums that will surround an Olympics like no other. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera, Tokyo.
The second CG Insurance ODI between West Indies and Australia has been postponed due to a positive COVID-19 test result from a non-playing member of the West Indies staff. This decision was taken after the toss at Kensington Oval. Once the result was known, the established COVID-19 protocol stipulates that all members of both teams and match officials will return immediately to the team hotel and will be retested later today. They will remain in isolation in their hotel rooms until their PCR test results are returned. A decision on when the match will be replayed will be made at a later date once all the test results are confirmed. That's it for sports. Our One Caribbean hookup is up next. This is your One Caribbean hookup. Jamaican medical students studying in Cuba are pleading for help. They're finding it difficult to access basic necessities like toiletries and food. Giovanni Dennis has been speaking with some of the students.
Like this might look scanty, but it's like a lot of people. A recording by a Jamaican medical student in Cuba showing crowds outside supermarkets waiting for upwards of 6 hours just to check what food items are available.
Most of the times I have to wake up from 2 a.m. in the morning and I'd have to wait until 9 a.m. to go to a store, as in we'd be waiting outside even during the pandemic, and like we sneak outside during curfew hours and we're hidden in bushes and stuff like that waiting for the store to be open.
They've risked sending us these short videos demonstrating their plight and challenge in accessing necessities.
The lack of medication, the lack of supplies such as sanitary napkins or pads, lotion, soap, shampoo, those necessities. And when I speak of the lack of food supplies, we're talking about basic things that we could have found back home, they're not here. So like your tin food, when chicken is scarce.
They've shared one of several letters they say they've written to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs seeking help. They say they've also reached out to the scholarship department in the Ministry of Finance.
We're not getting any assistance from the government or from our embassy here in terms of getting the items from Jamaica to Cuba. Our parents have done all that they can do in terms of buying items, packaging the items, and having the items shipped to us. They even found a shipping company, paid all the charges and everything, which is very, very costly.
The students insist they are grateful to the government of Cuba because they tried to make the best of a difficult economic situation. They also say the Jamaican ambassador in Cuba is currently helping with clearing one shipment for a small group of the more than 150 struggling Jamaican students. But they feel disheartened and alone, especially seeing other countries like Guyana helping their students. The students we spoke with are beneficiaries of the Jamaica-Cuba Bilateral Medical Scholarship Program. Our news team has reached out to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for a response, but there has been no reply to an email sent on Monday. Calls to the minister's phone went unanswered. We've also written to the Finance Ministry. Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
More than 100 cruise ship guests aboard the Seabourn Odyssey docked off the Rodney Bay coast during its maiden visit to St. Lucia on Monday. In the wake of a global leisure travel shutdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Tourism Authority says Odyssey's arrival and dozens of other scheduled cruise ship port calls this summer signals a steady rebound for St. Lucia's cruise sector.
Leisure travel is on the rebound, and after 15 months of still waters, cruise ships are again dropping anchor in St. Lucia. On July 19th, Seabourn Odyssey arrived with more than 100 passengers and crew aboard. A welcomed sight for local tourism-dependent businesses and service providers, which includes tour operators and cruise ship booking agents like Cox & Company. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, most cruise ships carry a fraction of their total passenger capacity, and only fully vaccinated guests are allowed to disembark in St. Lucia. Tourism officials, however, are working to secure more port calls despite the limited access to cruise ship guests, whose spend represents a financial lifeline for St. Lucia's souvenir vendors and duty-free shopping zones. In 2019, St. Lucia welcomed more than 21,000 cruise ship visitors during the month of May. Before June 29, 2021, Port Castries recorded 0 cruise ship arrivals since last April. But the tide appears to be changing as cruise travel resumes. According to arrival records from the Tourism Authority, more than 1,000 cruise passengers arrived in St. Lucia in the last 2 months. Officials also say more cruise lines are expected to reintroduce service to St. Lucia. More than 100 port calls have been secured for the 4th quarter. Rihani Isidore, NBC Prime.
China's central region is struggling with the worst flooding in recent history. At least 33 people have died and 200,000 people have been evacuated. Half of those killed were stuck in an underground railway in Zhengzhou city streets. Subways, factories and farmlands have all been affected. Thousands are expected to help with the search and rescue efforts. Al Jazeera's Adrian Brown reports from Hong Kong.
An image of normality turned upside down. Like a giant scrapyard, abandoned cars block a tunnel in central Zhengzhou. Roads transformed into rapidly flowing rivers, where in some areas, boat is the only way to get around. The city's inhabitants are used to typhoons, but they're still coming to terms with the scale of this week's deluge. It was the heaviest rainfall in 60 years. On Tuesday, more than 200 millimeters fell in just 1 hour. On state TV, the images have been more uplifting. Rescuers bringing young and old to safety. Some of the estimated 800,000 residents who've been displaced. The emphasis is on the positive work being done, not on those who've died.
Our teams have rushed to many places. We are carrying out tasks like blasting and flood diversion.
flood fighting and rescue, as well as mass evacuations.
The underlying message: the party will protect you. On social media, though, there's anger at why local weather forecasters failed to warn residents properly. The city lies in a flood-prone area. The provincial government reportedly spent more than $8 billion building defences that were supposed to prevent disasters like this happening. Now, more extreme weather is threatening the area. A typhoon is bearing down on China's eastern coast and could make landfall this weekend. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.
That's it for your One Caribbean Hookup. I'm Trellona Charles. Thank you for joining us. And now to recap our headlines, motorists call for an intervention as fuel costs continue to increase. Busmen skeptical about government's moratorium offer. Trade unions representing public workers await Labour Minister recommendations 1 month after the last mediation. In our One Caribbean Hookup, Jamaican medical students studying in Cuba plead for help as they find it difficult to access basic necessities, and China's death toll rises after record-breaking rainfall. And in sports, opening ceremony for the Tokyo Olympic Games just hours away. If you missed any part of this newscast, a repeat of it will be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight. Continue to follow us online at www.gbn.gd or on GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel for these and other top stories. I'm Trellona Charles. That's the news. We'll see you again. Good night.